Hello, welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I'm going to be working on PinkFresh Fridays. This is a hop hosted each month by Joanne Bartel. I will have links down below so that you can check out all of the other participants for this month. What we're supposed to do is use PinkFresh Studios product on a layout. You're allowed to use cardstock, acrylic pieces, and a few other like mixed media and stuff, but the bulk of your product needs to be PinkFresh Studios. So I have a photo here of me holding holding Jasper, and all that noise happens to be Jasper jumping up to join me. Stinker. Boy, he was pretty loud. So I pulled out mainly my Happy Heart collection, but I also had out these Life Right Now Puffy Alphas and the Keeping It Real phrases. I don't know which I'm going to use, if any, because there's also title pieces in here. And now we have a Phineas up here. But I have these papers, some scraps of papers here. I have the embellishments, good grief kitties, and some chipboard frames. I'm sure I'm going to be using those. A small alpha from this collection here. And this is the background piece that I'm going to be using for this layout. So I'm going to pause and get started and maybe get these kitty cats to step out of the way so that I can work. I'll be right back. Well, I think I got the kitties to go lay down in their little comfy beds and leave me be for the moment. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mat this photo in this scrap of yellow. On the back side of this pattern paper is the beautiful butterflies, but it's a perfect piece for matting this photo. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to cut down that pink floral bit that you see behind my trimmer right this minute. It looks like I made a little goof trying to trim it, and it's okay because I'm going to use my distress tool to scuff up the edges of all the pattern paper that is going onto the layout. So I know that I want to use both sides of this paper. The blue side is really pretty, so I just kind of cut it. Didn't do any measuring. I'm not real sure what size these pieces are, but I'm going to go ahead and scuff up all of the edges of this pattern paper. And I will get the pink piece as well as the mat around my photo. Now, this photo was taken right after we adopted Jasper, and he was probably about 7 to 8 weeks old in this photo. And it was before he actually got super sick and I almost lost him, but he was very much a baby and liked to be held when he was napping. It was a very adorable thing. Sometimes he still likes to be held when he's napping, but with a new kitten in the house, he's a little bit jealous, and so he doesn't really ask me to hold him as often. He was up in my lap earlier, snuggling, but he's still playing the little victim that he has been replaced. He has not been replaced. I wish he could understand those words. But anyway, he's simply adorable in this photo. I loved his little white paws. The vet thought we should name him Socks, but you know, that's kind of a name. Seems like everybody names their cat with little white mittens on their paws, socks, and just not super interested in doing that. Anyway, and I am now going to cut out 3 butterflies from the scrap of butterfly paper that I have. Now, these are not going to be perfectly fussy cut. I am leaving a little bit of a white border around the edges. These butterflies are kind of a watercolored effect, and so I felt like the white background left would help to ground them. I also left the antennae on them, and I don't usually do that either, but I did this time just because. Now, one of the things I like to do with butterflies like this is I like to use pop dots on their spine and flip up the wings. I do that with the 2 full butterflies and the half butterfly. I still put pop dots along its body and flipped up the wings on that one side. So anyway, these weren't too hard to cut out, and they're a really pretty part of this collection. I've used them for other layouts, and that's why there was a scrap left over, because I had already done this with another layout probably a year or so ago, right after I got the collection. And yes, it's still hanging around in my stash. I don't really have a whole lot of spring photos in the year that I'm scrapbooking, so I haven't really reached for these colors. And also I was trying to use up some of my older Hip Kit Club collections, because I had a lot of those gathering dust on my shelf, and I wanted to use a few of those, and they use a lot of pastels in their collections. I adore this paper with the windows, and I'm going to cut out one window and I'm going to use it as a base for a cluster of embellishments. So I am not leaving a white border around this window, just cutting it out, and then I'm going to set the rest of them aside, and I'm deciding on the placement. It does end up on this right hand side of the layout. I have a journaling block and a cute little umbrella, an embroidery hoop, and then a little circle with some flowers on the top, and I really like how that looks. I am going to start tucking some of these flowers, and I'm trying to use up the ones that look like they were cross-stitched, because I have a lot more of those than I do the other kind, and so I thought, you know, this would be a perfect way to use up as many of those as I possibly can. So I'm going to be layering up several of the floral pieces, and I'm just kind of deciding where things are going. I decided I didn't want to use that banner piece, so I will end up putting it back into the collection. I do like what I've got going on so far here, and I think I'm about ready to put in a title. And I'm going to title this layout Snuggle, and I'm going to use the Life Right Now letters. But first, I discovered that I had a frame that would fit perfectly around that circle that says love you on it, and added the butterfly, and now I'm going to go ahead and get this title going. I'm going to use all lowercase letters for my title, and I'm going to kind of squish them in there, and I'll have to move things around to fit the entire word on that little bottom piece, but it does work, and once I get it all glued down, it works great. And I'm pretty happy with the simplicity of this layout. I'm happy with the layers of clustering that I've got going on, and you know, it is another memory in an album that is finished. All right, I wanted to go ahead and add a couple of more things after I glued things down. I added the word adore to the window. I thought about putting that cloud on there, and you know, it just really wasn't big enough, so I put it back. And then I put happy little moments up there on the other cluster, and that leaves me with wordy bits in all 3 of my embellishment clusters, and I feel like the layout is pretty balanced at this point. All right, I am completely done with this layout. I even included my journaling, and I have my date. This is right after Jasper came to live with us, and he was still very much a baby who needed a mama, and tag I am it. My husband actually thinks that he thinks I am his mama, so maybe not, but this is just a cute little picture of me holding a tiny little kitten in 2016 who is still very much a mama's boy. So I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe to my channel. I am so grateful to all of you for helping me to grow this channel. I am so very close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel If you have any comments or questions about this layout or anything that I've done on this layout, just drop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Make sure you check out that description box down there. There'll be some information linked below. And you guys have a great rest of your Friday and a good weekend. Bye.